a new device this week. Let's see how it works out.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What You Need to Know. It is Wednesday. We're getting over the hump. And this is What You Need to Know based upon our What You Need to Know newsletter. I am Sybil Wilkes. And each and every day we have a newsletter that gives you the 5 top things you need to know. And also, in addition to that, we give you a little known Black history fact. We give you an HBCU corner fact, as well as health and wellness. And if you'd like to subscribe to that, and we would love to have you as a part of our What You Need to Know news crew, it is absolutely free. Go to sybilwilkes.com and give us your name and your email address, and we will have that in your email box every Monday through Friday morning without delay. And then we come here in the afternoon and we talk with my friends as they are want to be, as they are want to be in the city or not. They are kind enough to come on and join us every day, Monday through Thursday. Today is Stephen Hill and Myra J day, and we are awaiting the arrival of Myra J. But in the meantime, how are you, Stephen Hill?
I'm great. Myra, come on. Come on, it's time. No. You're gonna do your own. You're gonna do your own from back there. All right, we'll see you in a minute. I'm great. I'm fantastic. How you doing?
Yolanda has a question for us every week.
When are we doing a new podcast, Sybil?
We're gonna do one next month.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
With a real important topic. We won't tell you what it is right now, but we'll come back next week.
Yes.
And starting it off
but it's
with
definitely.
Yes.
We're starting off with something very serious, but yes, we will be back. It will be from to Stephen Hill.
That was kind of hot when you said that. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, really? I think it's my throat because I'm battling a little bit of a cough and throat issue, so I apologize for that.
You're battling COVID? You're battling COVID? Is that what you said?
Please don't. Please.
Is that
You know what? I woke up Monday morning with a sore throat, and at first I said it was because I watched the Aretha movie, and there was so much smoking going on. I felt like it gave me a sore throat.
That's not funny.
But I think it's something else. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm certainly hoping to.
Myra.
Hello. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing over there. Okay, cool. All right, good.
Myra, if you and Stephen Hill are going to be in the same space, you might as well be on the same camera.
That's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
Right? No, just stay over there, Myra. We're good.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
You guys, today we're going to be talking about something that has happened in this country for as long as all of us have been alive. But certainly the last several days, the focus is on it once again, and that is mass shootings, mass murders. As we do know, today is Wednesday, day before yesterday, there was a mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado. And this was a situation in which a 21-year-old man, went into a grocery store, or even before he got to the grocery store in Boulder, and started shooting and killed 10 people, including a Boulder, Colorado policeman. The week prior to that, this was just the 8th in 9 days of mass shootings. And
I was going to say, here in Atlanta, it won't make national news, thank God. Within the last hour, there's a breaking news story because a man walked into a Publix in Atlantic Station carrying a rifle, went into the bathroom, somebody called the police. Police came, he had 5 guns on him and wearing body armor. It's a breaking news story here right now. Yeah.
And that's exactly what this and I say kid, this man had. He was strapped with a pistol and a rifle, as well as wearing body armor, and went in, and he survived. He was injured in some way because they showed him he had stripped all his clothes off, the body armor and all of this off. And as they escorted him out, one leg was drenched in blood, and they treated him and then took him to jail. More and more common. And so today we have a member of the National Medical Association, and the NMA has called for firearm violence as a public health emergency. And the man who is the chair of this particular task force on the National Medical Association Task Force on Gun Violence is Dr. Roger A. Mitchell Jr. Dr. Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
No, my pleasure. I hope you can hear me okay. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. Are you in a spot where you can't yell and laugh and do all of that crazy stuff?
No, I'm actually at my dining room table, so
Oh,
I can
nice.
do all of the above. So I appreciate it.
So, Dr. Mitchell, our friend Michael Perry passed this on to us, and how the NMA has called for firearm violence as a public health emergency. Over the past year, federal and local governments have been able to build a prevention, intervention, response, and communication infrastructure to strategically respond to the COVID-19 threat. And all these great minds and resources have come together to save lives. And it's important, as your organization says, to activate our entire public health system to prevent the morbidity and mortality of our communities from firearm violence. Is this a first of its kind, Doctor?
Well, I mean, we've been talking about mobilizing a public health approach to violence for years. Those of us that have been in this work have been calling for it. And some believe, well, how are you suggesting it's a public health crisis? Well, the reality of it is that if anyone is dying or if anyone's going to the hospital for something, there's a public health solution to it. And what does that mean? That public health solution is that we have the ability to bring together organizations, individuals, disciplines to deal with this issue, because it's a multidisciplinary issue. Those of us that are in community and know about gun violence know that it's not the law enforcement. You can't arrest your way out of this, right? We need access to education and economics and housing and healthcare and environmental justice. All of that comes together in a toolkit that we call public health.
And so this would not only take those of you who deal in the health sector, in the health field, and saving our lives, but it would have to be a strategic planning and grouping of people from all sectors, politicians, from the law, from the legal standpoint, all of these things, correct?
Absolutely. So we know that the COVID crisis is taking our lives, taking Black and brown lives more often than it's taking anyone else. I used to be the chief medical examiner for Washington, D.C. and supported all of that work in our response. Right. And I believe in this show, you talked about the crisis of COVID. Right. And through our communities, we're talking about the importance of vaccination. Right. So we're using multiple spheres. Our media and our journalism is going out and spreading the word. Our researchers are doing the research. Our practitioners are serving the patients. Our schools are doing their part. Gun violence needs that same thing. It no longer can we just say we're going to pass common sense gun reform, although we need to pass common sense gun reform. We need to do more than that. We need to mobilize the whole government infrastructure, social services infrastructure to deal with what has been plaguing our community more often than the mass shooter that goes and shoots up a supermarket, although that is atrocious.
Yeah. Or whether people are going to a spa for an afternoon or at a party or whatever.
That's right.
We listed all of these mass shootings that took place over the last 9 days, 8 mass shootings, when it means 4 or more people are injured or wounded or killed. And we all live in major cities. I'm in Dallas, Steve is in New York, Myra's in Atlanta. And we all, this is always a concern for us. But where do we start?
Well, I think a lot of us have started, right? And your listeners need to understand that wherever they sit, they can be violence preventionists, right? And so violence is not just the gun violence in community, it's domestic violence, it's child abuse, it's elder abuse. And so when we're talking about violence prevention, we want people to think through what they can do surrounding it, but talking about it like it's a public health issue, not a criminal justice issue. Now we want law enforcement to show up. If a guy shows up on my doorstep with a gun, I'm calling the cops. There's no doubt about it. I might go up to my own personal safe, while I'm calling the cops, but I'm calling the cops. But before that man gets on my step, what are we doing? What are we doing inside of the prison system to ensure that returning citizens have what they need when they hit the block? What are we doing to decriminalize substance use and abuse disorder, right? In a way in our community, not just in white communities that have the opioid crisis, but in our community, what are we doing to destigmatize mental health? All of these things come together to decrease violence. And so the National Medical Association, what we're calling for is absolutely common sense gun reform. We're calling for the plugging of the gun show loopholes. We know that 40% of all illegal guns come from gun shows with loopholes. So I know in DC, and I'm in a major city as well, we know that the majority of guns that come into our city and make it into the hands of our young Black men are coming from either Virginia or Florida or Alabama. The ATF knows that, right? So what is exactly we're doing to stop the pipeline of guns into our community? And then how are we working with those young people to give them alternatives to resolve conflict a different way?
Dr. Mitchell, I think this is going to take a longer period of time for us to discuss this. And I love the fact that you came on tonight, and I want to invite you back so that perhaps we can extend this a little bit more and to get into some of the meat. You've given us some of the issues or some of the directions that we should be going in. But I think that I would like to invite you, and I think Steve would agree. This is a conversation that we could have on our podcast and really kind of and really, get into the meat of it, as we have said. So how can people get more information from the National Medical Association about this particular task force, or is there a website that we can go to, Dr. Mitchell?
Absolutely. And that's easy. NMA, National Medical Association, nmanet.org. And you can get us there. And I'm on the Instagram, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter.
You're on the Instagram,
I love that he said the Instagram.
Yeah. Listen, the Instagram. Because see, I just look young. I'm not that young, right? So I appreciate
what you're taking. I want your vitamins and supplements that you're taking, because you look about like you just got out of med
listen, I'm telling you, it's that fenugreek. We could talk about that. We could talk about that too.
Okay, we will. We absolutely will.
That too.
Thank you so much.
I'm a big fan, guys. I'm a big fan. I just want to let you know of all three of you. Absolutely.
Oh, so appreciate you. And we are of yours now that we have met you and all the great things that you guys are bringing forth to us. Thank you, Dr. Roger Mitchell, and we will invite you back, I promise.
God bless.
God bless you. Thank you so much. That's a lot. That's a lot to unpack, isn't it, you guys? And so
it's a major problem, though, and what's so unfortunate, we know it's a problem, and it's sad to say that Columbine was 20 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
People still can carry
ARs. Right.
If we would have banned them 20 years ago, no telling how many lives could have been saved.
Well, think about that, George Bush. George Bush, who is now a favorite president of a lot of people after Donald Trump. Let's move to our trending video. I want you guys to see this. This is and I know you've heard this name over the last couple of days. Derek Jackson, who preaches healing. And
take me out. Yogi, take me out.
We have just a short video of his confession.
What's going on, guys? Derek Jackson here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Danae, and we just wanted to address a couple of things. We understand that some of you may have already heard, maybe not, that this chapter of our marriage is one that was preceded by a marriage that I completely failed. And I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year. But, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true. Some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derek Jackson was involved with other women. outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out. Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took.
This and well. This is Derek Jackson. The video is sorry. And that is your impersonation of Mrs. Jackson.
Yes, yes.
Denia, is it?
Yes. Denial.
Denial.
Bless her heart.
It has gotten over 2.5 million views in one day on Instagram, 600,000 on YouTube, and 500,000 on Facebook. And his affairs began in early March. This week.
No, that can't be right.
No. The gossip about his affairs began in early March. And this week, one woman claimed to have had an affair with him after he allegedly told her that he and his wife were separated. I mean, who hasn't been told that?
Evidently, the wife.
So he has been known as a relationship expert after he started a blog about 10 years ago with the missteps he made that led him to lose his college sweetheart. And after they reconciled, they started a family together. So he has cheated before. They got married. She, yada, yada, yada. And so he's written several relationship advice books. And I wonder if he writes them all in third person, the way he talks on video.
You know what? Till I saw the video like 2 days ago, I had never heard of this man. I had never heard of him, didn't know who he was. But I didn't go so much to his words. I went straight to his wife's face. And literally, I had posted like, "Sister, blink if you need help." Because she was sitting there. I was like, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This woman is sitting there in her wool hat, pulled down, and just like, and he's pulling on her hand so hard. And I'm not saying that it's a domestic that it's a domestic violent situation, but to me, what I read, there was a definite imbalance in that relationship. It was a real imbalance there. And she's like the meek wife, just saying, the Lord gonna get us through. And I'm like, and so will the door, baby. We'll get you through.
Our friend Joe said that this is a Stepford wife. And this is reminiscent of that. Now she has given us her own video, her own take on this, if I'm not mistaken. I have not seen it.
Oh,
yes, Steve. Yes.
I thought we were going to see that next. I was like, I was about to break out the popcorn. I was like, this is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are we really? But aside from Myra's spot-on impersonation, are we really going to just fly past the decision to wear the bonnet on TV? Right.
Well, it's not a bonnet. It's not a bonnet. If you look closely, no. Look at it closely. It's a knit cap. It's a black.
It is a knit cap. That's what I thought too, because even our friend Griff,
right?
He did a takeoff on it, and his wife had I think she had the bonnet as well, but I thought it was a knit cap, like you said too.
Yeah,
it's not a bonnet.
It's not a bonnet. It looks.
Can we play it? Can we just show it again?
I have had many.
I know we don't have a lot of time for this, but so
people are saying bonnet, but do a close up. It's not a bonnet, people.
We always have time for the bonnet.
What's going on, guys? Derek Jackson here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Denia, and we just wanted to address a couple of things.
It's a bonnet.
Okay.
Bonnet.
I'm with Myra.
Bonnet.
I'm not bonnet. I know bonnets. That was one of her. That was one of Mima's knitted caps. I really believe.
Bonnet.
Right. Well, whether it's a bonnet or a hat, I look at those eyes. Those eyes are flatlined, flatlined, and I'm like, sister, trust me. We are. All you got to do is walk out the door and say, somebody.
Something. Let us move to what you need to know. That is something we need to know on how to, but on how to signal, on how to give that signal that we need help and need to get out of here. Whether it's whatever. You just gonna make that a bonnet, huh?
100%.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So as we spoke with Dr. Mitchell and talking about the mass shootings, the 8 mass shooting in 9 days. The first one started, that was not included, but we did in the What You Need to Know newsletter, and that was the shooting that took place in Chicago on Sunday, March 14th, at a pop-up party on the South Side, at a business, and they had 15 people shot, 2 people were killed, a young man and a young woman. The young woman has lived in Chicago, recently moved to Texas and came back for a little vacation. She left Chicago because of the violence, moved to Texas and went back to be with her family. And she was one of those killed, one of the 2. Then, of course, Tuesday, on the 16th of March in Atlanta, at the 3 area spas, we had 8 people killed, 1 person shot, and 6 of those people were Asian women. On March 17th, there was a shooting during a vigil in Stockton, California. In Gresham, Oregon, the next day on March 18th, 4 people were shot. Saturday, over the weekend, it was all hell broke loose. In Houston, 5 people shot at a club Saturday. That same night, in Dallas, 8 people shot, 1 person killed at a club.
Hold up. Am I?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's a little off topic, but like, folks is back out at clubs?
Yeah.
Oh, they've been in the clubs.
Yeah.
No, you're in Atlanta, Myra. I know, Myra. I know it. Atlanta like never shut down, but I was surprised about Dallas.
Yep. Never shut down.
And Texas, yes.
I don't want to take a point because this is a different point than that. I was surprised to hear.
No, I mean, but your point is well made, because you're thinking that people are still not going out and doing it, but they are, and they're. I mean, we saw Miami this week, right?
Yeah,
That just wasn't
that happened
spring
last
breakers.
year. I know. Absolutely.
Right.
Miami is the place where I have more people I know than any place else have gotten COVID.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, just because it's they just pay no attention to the rules down there, given the thousands of spring breakers arrested. But I don't want to get off the shootings, because it's super ridiculous.
So, in Philadelphia, that same night on March 20th, 6 people shot, 1 person killed at a party, and then we end with the 10 people killed at the grocery store on Monday. And as Myra said, it continues. A man walks into a Publix grocery store with a weapon and loaded down with all of this stuff. This is going to take more than just conversation, and I know what I'm saying, but the Republicans are loaded for bear. They're ready for it because they don't want to have their weapons taken away, and what they're saying is that we're trying to take away their Second Amendment rights, ownership of guns, right? That's not what they're trying to do. They want to get. Why do you need an automatic rifle?
Exactly.
To go hunting? No, you tell me, because you think the way they do.
My first question is, why is there a Second Amendment? And I don't mean that like why, because it shouldn't be. I'm like, the Second Amendment was put there for a reason. I do not know the reason. I can only predict that. I can only assume the reason. Somebody here will know why they thought citizens having arms was the right thing to do. Perhaps it was because they feared another invasion from the British. My point is, whatever reason that was put into the Constitution, does that still exist? Does the reasoning still exist in 2021 that existed in 1776 or 1781 or whatever year that the Constitution came?
81, 89. Yeah.
Right. So I just want to make sure we understand why there's a Second Amendment, because if that reason is no longer there, look, the NRA is far too powerful now. Like we can all hope, we can all wish, but the NRA is an incredibly powerful organization, and there's no way that 2/3 of the states will ever overturn, ever overturn.
I saw a great food for thought video that basically was like, when the Second Amendment was written, people had muskets, and you could get off one shot every 30 seconds, maybe one a minute, when they wrote the Second Amendment. So I'm sure they did not even think or conceive that they would have weapons where they could wipe out like 50 people in a minute.
In half a second.
Right. So it's totally different now, and it needs to be looked at, and it really needs to be changed to me.
I think this is also interesting. I'm sorry, sweetie?
Z Walker says, yeah, it was to prevent British invasion. Joe Robinson III says a standing militia in case of war, or ironically, insurrection. Right. So what's the reason they put the Second Amendment in, and is there a way to approach that? I can assume that some people here will know why.
Your words are coming back at you.
I find myself oddly in the future.
That was me, my bad.
I think it's really interesting that a lot of this Constitution, which people say, is still alive and all of that, the Constitution was, I like to say that it's still alive, and yet it was written by white men who, regarded us as 3/5 of a person. And some of these things that just don't matter. And I agree with you, Steve, but thank goodness for people like Letitia James, who's trying to take the NRA down.
Yeah, 100%.
And other people, and trying to take their power away from them and make them into some smaller entity, I think. Or at least I hope that's the way that it turns out.
And remember, and there used to be a society where everybody carried guns, and they called it the Wild Wild West. Remember? And then
now we call it Dallas.
Exactly. But we tried to get away from that to live more, quote unquote, civilized. And now they're like, no, I got to have my guns because I can have rats. I'm like, you have rats? Really? Well, shoot them with your guns.
So people are saying that white folks are afraid of black folks, and that's why they're maintaining the need for guns. But and we do have
when the Black Panthers started carrying guns. Remember?
That was it, Myra.
When the Black Panthers started carrying guns,
it was like, oh no, we can't have this. And a lot of black people do have guns. We just don't use them in crazy ways that some of these other people who are melanin challenged are doing.
The reason that the Second Amendment exists no longer exists. That's it. Like that's
the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
But the fact that and Lord knows. People like Donald Trump and others want to go back and make America great again. There's no going back in trying to reason with these people and to go forward.
Because guns, whether you like it or not, represent power, and no one wants to give up power. The same way the 14th Amendment had to fight because that gave up a little power. The same way the 13th Amendment gave up power. Guns represent power, whether we like it or not, and there's nobody Caucasian in this world that wants to give up power willingly.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. There's no argument there.
Well, to me, and I'm probably thinking too far into the future, but to me, it's so barbaric to want to hold on to your gun because that's power. Because other countries, they're not thinking guns. They thinking chemicals, baby. So you can have all the guns you want, and they can put a couple of drops in the water, and all our hair fall out, and that would be the good ending. You know what I'm saying? So it's like guns mean nothing. They mean nothing to me. If that's why you're holding on to it, to be powerful. You're back in the Flintstone ages because these
Right.
other countries are talking chemicals.
Joy Root says guns represent coward and not power. That's because you've never held a gun in your hand. If you've held a gun in your hand, I'm telling you, if you've held
That's
a gun
the
in your
power.
hand, you understand what the power of that is. And while I believe cowardly people, that's kind of my point is, cowardly people need that for power, right? The gun itself represents power, especially to people who are cowardly. So don't get them confused. Hold a gun in your hand and see if you don't feel a way that you're stunned by it.
The thing that
I have fired a gun.
Okay.
I hated it. I hated it.
Did you
really
go
did.
like to a range and did
And it was so, and just so happened I was visiting a relative, and it was on the day after I think the Parkland shootings. I had never been to a rifle range before, and to go into this thing and put their headphones on, and the first thing you smell when you walk in is gunpowder. And to have people on the right of me and people on the left of me, and this ta 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 ta, and they're pulling this figure, your target forward, and the head is blown up and the chest is blown up. To me, it was the most disgusting experience I ever had. It was disgusting.
Before we end this, there is one thing that I do want to mention, and that is in your state of Georgia, Myra, and perhaps in others, but definitely in Georgia. As we are talking about this, and this man who went in and killed 8 people in the 3 spas, he was able to go and register and purchase a gun on the same day. The people of the state legislature do not want to allow people to register and vote on the same day. How do you give that kind of power to people and try to take away the power of the vote? This is where I want my energies, my attention, all of that I have to be focused on and stopping. And I hope other people are working on, doing away with automatic rifles and what have you. But my focus is going to be on taking away the power of the legislature to stop people from being able to register to vote, to keep, raising the level of difficulty in registering to vote and to vote. That's the part that really bothers me. So this is good news out of the town where I went to college. Evanston, Illinois has their discussions about reparations, and they have approved reparations
I saw you, Myra.
for its Black.
Myra's clowning. Myra's clowning. I just want to put that to you. All right, sorry.
Black people do live and have lived for many years in Evanston, Illinois. And so, there's a lot. By an 8-1 vote, the city council Monday night made Evanston the first city in the country to approve a reparations program for its Black residents, and starting with housing. The focus there is critical. And in this city, they're righting the wrongs of slavery, segregation, and housing discrimination. African Americans make up about 16% of Evanston's 75,000 population. And so they are going to start with the first phase of the program will be $400,000, available in $25,000 home ownership and improvement grants, mortgage assistance for Black residents. What do you think?
All right now.
It's a start.
It's a start. It's exactly my word.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's no mule, there's no 40 acres, but definitely. And it is also will come from Myra. This is the great part. This is a part of a $10 million package approved for ongoing reparations initiatives, and money from the program will be revenue from their annual cannabis taxes.
Oh, they should have more money than that.
That's a lot of money right there.
A lot more money than that.
That's a lot of money right there, Blair.
So and also, if I'm not mistaken, there's something in there that adds the ability of people whose families lived in Evanston for many years, Black families, for them to lay claim to some of this money as well. So I'm putting in a call to Mary Flowers Boyce because her mama grew up in Evanston. So.
That's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us move to this story about, this is from Long Island, New York.
Ah,
And this is our social
right over that way.
justice. um,
Right over there.
the headmaster of the St. Martin de Porres
Oh.
Marianist School in Long Island has been placed on temporary leave after an incident in February. Mr. Holian, who is white, forced an 11-year-old black boy to apologize to a teacher in an African way by kneeling to the teacher. So this is crazy enough. But
I'm gonna
he
need
was,
more. I'm gonna need more.
okay, well, wait a minute. This is crazy enough, but Steve, get why he was being punished. He was reprimanded by his English teacher for working on another assignment after finishing his reading for that class for the day. The teacher ripped up the assignment that he was working on, took him to the principal's office, and the principal told the kid to get on his knees and apologize to the teacher. The mama, Trisha, learned about it, and she called the school to inquire if he was forcing students to kneel is standard disciplinary practice. He said no, but he learned this practice from a Nigerian father who said it was an African way of apologizing. I felt there was no relevance at all. Is he generalizing that everyone who is black is African? Said the woman who is Haitian. So all of this, is ridiculous in nature because we asked our resident Nigerian, and she said that it is proper to kneel to your parents or someone of that nature, but she don't know anything about having to kneel to the English teacher.
Yeah, that was some bull.
Where do you come up with this crap, people?
Wherever
That
they
was-
possibly can to make themselves feel better than they did the minute before.
Wow.
This is an abuse of power. Look, it's all about power.
Absolute
It's all
power.
about power and feeling like you're losing it everywhere, and so you take it wherever you can. It's a horrible thing, especially when it involves a kid.
Right.
That kid is going to be
Yeah.
scarred. This kid will not forget this action, and it will scar him. So
We got a case here in Plano in the suburbs of Dallas and talking about this and scarring a kid. This little boy was bullied so much that he was the teacher, the gym teacher took away his equipment. He was at a slumber party. They made him drink his own urine, and
I read that. It was terrible.
It was absolutely so. They're scarring our children, and
wait. Is that another African proverb or something? Did I miss something? Did I miss the connection on that one? What?
Just trying to make the connection about how our children are scarred, and the PTSD is real, right? That this is so the fact that this headmaster. Now, Steve, let me just say this. You and I have both been to schools where they had headmasters, right?
Yes.
Did you have a headmaster?
Okay. What? Did we switch over and start talking about porn? What?
No, stop. No, bad. No.
Oh.
No.
Okay. Well, no.
You can
I
bet
went
your
to
John
Chicago
Holmes we
Public
didn't. Where's Deidre Holland when you need her? What?
I don't ever remember the headmaster of the school who's over the principal and all of this. I've never heard of a case where the principal, the headmaster has taken things to such an extreme. And I could be wrong and not having seen it. But this just seems to be the way these stories are popping up. Is it just social media? Is it stuff that has been going on the low, and we just haven't heard stories about it? Or is this just what they're doing to our kids these days?
They're trying to find any excuse they can to make our kids powerless. Like they're just trying to find it. Look, people have having bad days and want to take it out on. They can take it out on a kid, and the kid can do nothing. I don't know where they do this anymore. I don't support this except in this case. Perhaps kid could go back to the headmaster and say, since we're so interested in traditions of different countries, what do you think I should do? Should I practice like genital mutilation on you? Can I try that? Can we? You're so into it. No, you can get on your knees.
Yeah, tradition.
Tradition. So
yeah.
And how do you feel, if someone were to do this, and as we wrap this up, I'll say this for another day, because I can only imagine how you would feel and how you would go after this headmaster if this had been your faithful ward.
Well, but
Don't.
very quickly, when I lived in Beverly Hills, and my son was the only black in his class in 6th grade, and there were only 2 black kids in 6th grade there. Let me just say that they knew me so well at the office. When I came through the door, they would scatter to the point where I'm like, I know y'all saw me. Y'all saw me coming in. Yeah, Michael's mom is here. Somebody better come out and talk to me right now, because if Michael's mom got to come, ain't nobody having a good day. That would be my announcement. That would be my announcement when I came in.
Okay, so here we are. Thank you, Myra, for that recreation of Michael Mama going to school, taking off from her good job.
That's right.
So we've been talking in the What You Need to Know newsletter and giving people updates on if they haven't gotten their stimulus money and all of this, giving them places to go on irs.gov and what have you. But the question is, some people have it in their mind what they're going to do with their money. Other people are, no. Do you, or have you ever had a situation where people have tried to tell you what to do with your money? You know what you ought to do with that stimulus money? You ought to go buy a brick of something, of some sort of drug, and break it off and then make some more money from it. Or tell you how to spend your money. And people always used to do this with Tom, is that, Tom, what you ought to do is you ought to get together with Oprah and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and all of you get together and buy your own TV station, buy your own radio station, buy, what they ought to do. We're always good at that. But how do you feel about people trying to tell you what to do with your money? And I can imagine Stephen Hill, you may have experienced this, and it may be even down to the level with people like us, as people telling us what to do with our stimulus money. You know what I mean? So my question is, how do you feel about people telling you what you ought to do with your money, Myra?
Well, first of all, they know that's a sensitive subject with me, and I didn't really have any money. Me and my friends would always be like, okay, what we need to do is ante up our money together and try to get a bus pass or something, because it was never a whole lot of money. But no, I do not believe in living in other people's pockets. That's my saying. The only time I might suggest to someone what they may want to do with their stimulus money is if they happen to owe me some money.
Then I got a suggestion for your ass.
Okay.
Absolutely. What about you, Steve?
It's funny. I'm close friends with a lot of people who get told what to do with their money, but I think I'm just on that level below. Like, he ain't really got that much money. I ain't really, I was swimming in a pool after I came home from college, and some dude said plastics. Other than that, I knew you would like that. Like that.
Thank you.
But no, I'm wasteful enough with mine that people are going to go, tell him how to waste it more. I got one word for you, Vegas.
I was going to say, you ought to take your friends to Mexico.
Oh, that's, by the way, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Okay.
But you should mention that.
Just putting it out there in the universe.
Oh, I feel a big announcement coming. What if someone wanted to give you a good investment suggestion? What if you have a suggestion for somebody? We have a business column every day, and we're always talking about these new businesses and how the especially Black celebrities are putting their money together to bring about to increase the business side of their portfolios. What if you have, a good investment suggestion? Would you give it to somebody who's perhaps, times are that they don't need the stimulus money, but where to put it? Would you feel comfortable in doing that?
That's
As a suggestion,
because
yes.
that's not
No,
my lane at all.
Well, as a suggestion, yes. I'm never going to say like, oh, this is the best thing in the world. Like that's, all I can do is provide you with info and then have you make your own decision. I'm never going to try to convince somebody. Wait, that's not really true. Okay. I'm actually thinking this all the way through. Like, I will give you information, and if I think you, yeah.
And we're not talking insider trading or anything like that.
Right. No. I would just give you information, and then try to provide you with the, all the information and energy you need to make a great decision, which is yes.
And Myra, what about to your son or to your grandchildren?
Oh, look. Okay. I was just thinking about this with reparations, how we need generational wealth. But in the meantime, Black people, the best we can do is have insurance. So I would just suggest to them, at least buy a house. Stop
real estate.
Yeah. Real estate. That's and that's just the lane we're in for my family. Nobody really has any extra money.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And if you do have some extra money and you want to invest in something good and positive, we have sponsorships of the What You Need to Know newsletter.
Or real estate south of the border. Other one's fine.
Okay. All right. So now we move to entertainment. Oh, Steve, Yolanda wants you to explain your title, today. Stephen, they launch in Hill?
North Korea's at it. North Korea's at it. They didn't launch some missiles. There may be a ballistic missile, but this is what happens when, it happened when Trump came on the first 3 or 4 months of the presidency. They launched missiles like, how you gonna react? Right. So now it's Biden's turn, right? So this one's, and so just recently they announced that North Korea is the bad guy, right? North Korea is the bad guy.
Yes.
The North Korea is launching. It just launched a missile. They don't know the details around it yet. At least they hadn't by the time we started this broadcast.
And Lil Kim's sister is talking too.
They launch.
Yeah, they launch. They be launching.
Yep.
Okay, so if they're launching and you're close, maybe you're in California, what are you gonna do?
Duck and cover. Duck and cover.
Okay. Talking about entertainment.
Head to Halle Berry's house.
Okay. Not bad, actually. What is your thought, Myra and Stephen Hill? I think I know Steve because I was really quite surprised at the reaction I heard. What was your reaction when you heard about the Gary Owen divorce?
You know what? Marriage is hard for anybody who's been married for real talk. To live
not
with somebody,
married, but married.
Marriage is very, very, very hard. So I didn't have any thoughts on it. What I was surprised though, because I actually looked at their assets because I was like, well, how's the spirit gonna be? Sister girl, all right, okay. She is okay when it comes to finances. So I think she's gonna come out okay. Gary's probably gonna have to come up with a new act because so much of his whole, thing is about being married to a Black woman. So
unless he comes up with another Black woman,
which is fine. Just know she's gonna be in the act.
So I don't want to get into her money and stuff, but for some reason I remember him saying that she came from money, and I'm not sure if she came from very well-educated people, or did she have a business or something?
I don't know what girlfriend did, but when I looked at her finances, I said, "Damn! I didn't know she had it like that." Okay, she just
so like what kind of numbers did you see, Myra?
10.
Okay. Damn.
See what I'm saying?
Damn.
Okay. And I'm not spilling the tea. This was, public knowledge. You can just go
Right.
go on Google. Google it.
Go on the Google.
Go on
the
right.
Google.
Go on the Google. That's what I did, and I said, "Damn." Oh, somebody said
That's
she's
just
been
me.
flipping houses.
Oh, flipping houses. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
real estate. See,
That's once again, that's real estate, flipping houses. All right.
so you know what? I wish them both well. I think they'll both be fine.
Yeah, Steve.
I love, and I was sorry to see this happen. I think Kenny and Gary are both really, really cool people. And, I just say the last time I checked in, I thought it seemed like everything was fine and going along. And so you just never know what's happening inside people's four walls. But
Right.
you always hope for the best. And right, I got to work with them on Gary Allen's show a few years ago. And so, I loved the structure. I loved that, they came on and they were, he made it clear there are no stepchildren, there are only children in this family. And we treat everybody. And so I just liked their approach and how it worked. And so I was devastated with the E. Okay, that was a tossback joke to the separation of energy and education. I mixed my metaphors there, but my point is, I wish them all well.
It's tough. It's I say that as one who has always stood on the outside looking in. It's not easy, and I can't imagine, and especially during this time, during the pandemic and the shutdown of everything, I can't imagine 24/7 of that.
Just imagine.
I can't
like
imagine.
I said, marriage is like COVID for 18 years. Like, you've been quarantined with somebody for 18 years. Every damn day. Same person. Oh
My God.
Oh,
Marriage is like, I'm going to put that on a pillow.
That's good. That's a good one.
Marriage
that
is like
tight
COVID
right
for
there.
18 years.
yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Myra. I'm not sure if you're still in a dry March.
Yeah.
I'm dry now. I'm in the other room. I ain't close to the beverage.
You left your stash in the other room.
Yeah, I left my tasty beverage. Yes, I did.
Oh
but
my God, Myra, that is hilarious. That is hilarious.
but yep.
Were you surprised how this relationship just kind of took off with bringing other people in, and like Claudia Jordan was brought into it and stuff? That was just bizarre to me.
I didn't see that part.
Claudia wasn't playing though.
Everybody's subtexting, right? So this is like something's swirling around the drain. There's someone at the middle of the drain going like, "Wait till you get to me," right? So it's like it's just not there yet. Something's swirling, like, "Oh, it's Claudia," and then it's not Claudia Jordan. It's one of the friends. No white girls involved. I'm like, wow, that's some hashtagging for your ass right there.
You may call those hash browns.
It's the way this is all playing out is, normally you would think that TMZ came out with the story, like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but now it's taking on. It's going in different directions.
TMZ ain't never wrong. Let's be clear. TMZ ain't never wrong.
Never.
TMZ is what?
Right. And you can say, well, it's TMZ. Nope.
Nope.
I got it from TMZ. Okay, then they're right on. Steve, next week I'm going to talk about verses, because I'm fascinated about the next verses that's taking place on Easter Sunday.
I am as well.
Is that
Easter? April 4th.
It is on
Easter
Sunday.
Yeah, Easter Sunday.
Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind, and Fire. We can talk about it next week, but shout out to Tim, shout out to Swizz, two black men who cashed in on something they built over the past year with Triller. They're now partners in Triller, and the great thing about it is when they got their piece, they broke off every single artist who was a part of Verses to that point with a piece of Triller. So
Triller is
Triller's an app. Triller's an app, and that app is the one that acquired Versus. Tim and Swizz are now on the board of Triller as well as executives there. But we're talking about it next week, so we'll talk about it next week.
Okay, but don't you love when people, like, we got some of this, and so we want to share some of that.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
it's beautiful.
And we'll also talk about the people who say, like, it was black owned. Why can't it be black owned anymore? And being a guy who's a black owned media company, and then it was not black owned. I have plenty to say on that, and we'll do it next week.
I think we can all have something to say about that. So here we go. Myra J, do you have anything coming up this week?
I don't know if I can actually talk. I am being interviewed. I don't know if Guy Torrey or George Wallace spoke about it.
Oh yeah, this is Guy's project. Yeah.
Yes. Fat Tuesday,
awesome.
Which is the history of black comedy. So I'm being interviewed tomorrow, and so is George, and so is Chris Tucker. So
Wonderful.
I can't wait for the final project.
I was talking to Guy the other day, and he's going to come on and talk about it once they, completed all of this.
Okay.
Stephen Hill.
Hey, did my invite for the black comedy thing come? No,
it didn't. No.
All right, well, just
No.
No. Are you sure?
What about Saturday night on Sirius XM?
Sirius XM this Saturday night is
a surprise.
No, it's not a surprise. It is not a surprise. It's En Vogue. I couldn't remember whether we did Tank yet. Tank was this past weekend, so En Vogue. We talk about En Vogue, and we talk about which En Vogue member was actually in the TV show Homeboys from Outer Space.
Oh wow!
What?
Oh my God. Okay.
And how after I revealed that, the other members were like, "We had no idea."
Oh, that's cute.
So,
that's cute.
that's what we did.
Good. That's going to be a good one. So that is at 10 o'clock
11
Eastern?
p.m. 11
11,
Eastern
10 o'clock Central.
On Sirius XM, channel 48, Heart and Soul.
Gotcha. Time for Yogi's Jewels, daily inspiration. On Hump Day, we like to get you to do a little breathing. So refresh your mind, renew your soul. Inhale the new, exhale the old. Thank you so much. Inhale the new, exhale the old. Okay. Oh, garçon. All right. Have a wonderful day. Please take a little time to look at our video here, and please consider being a part of this. It is a wonderful and worthy project.
Yep.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Anybody wearing a bonnet in this video? No?
Not this one.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go watch Genius Aretha. I'm gonna see.
We should talk about that
next week.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you so much.
He can tell you about their first dance, but he can't remember my name. I'm his daughter.
Half of all black families are impacted by Alzheimer's, but we don't know why. At HSC, we are investing in a new research study to find solutions for your family. To join the research study, visit blackalzbrainstudy.com or call 817-735-29